The Honourable Member for Louis Saint Laurent.
Monsieur le Président, parlons-en du leader.
Let's talk about Canadian leadership on the world stage when it comes to the environment. COP28 is happening now. I'm participating virtually. What does that mean? I'm attending regularly with zero emissions and zero costs. Last year, at COP27, a document was tabled about the effectiveness of the fight against climate change. Canada was ranked 58th. Could a minister tell us where Canada stands a year later? The Honourable Minister.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Le ministre de l'Environnement fait un travail
The Minister of the Environment is doing extraordinary work. Many questions were raised by the opposition. One thing they don't seem to understand, however, is that we had a Battle of the Plains of Abraham in 1759. We had another one last week during the marathon voting session. Conservatives voted against all measures. Will they perhaps be shy about visiting the Plains of Abraham in the coming weeks? The Honourable Member for Louis Saint Laurent. I understand the Minister for being a little embarrassed because Canada went from 58 to 62. Those are the results after a year of this government's efforts. After 8 years, what's happened? 8 years of important messages, but never reaching those objectives.
In 2015, Canada is back. The Prime Minister, but today the Canada is way back. That's the reality after 8 years of this government.
Order.
L'honorable ministre de l'Innovation.
The Honourable Minister for Innovation. Inaudible. Last week, Conservatives voted against aerospace initiatives and tourism businesses. They voted against the Plains of Abraham. Imagine that. The member for Saint Laurent should be ashamed for voting against the Plains. He needs to bring his colleagues back to reason, because on this side, we are fighting for Canadians.
The Honourable Member from Regina, Wascana.
Mr. Speaker, after 8 years of this Liberal NDP government, even a report from COP28 is showing that this Prime Minister is not worth the cost. The Climate Change Performance Index ranked Canada 62nd out of 67 countries on climate change performance, despite the fact that Canada has one of the highest carbon taxes in the world. Mr. Speaker, will the Prime Minister finally admit that he does not have an environmental plan, he has a tax plan?
Yeah. The Honourable Minister for Natural Resources and Energy.
Mr. Speaker, not only is the Conservative Party opposed to addressing affordability in this country, and not only are they opposed to fighting climate change, but they have a hard time keeping their statements straight. Mr. Speaker, in 2008, the Conservative Party platform stated we will work to implement a North American-wide cap and trade system for greenhouse gases. The 2021 platform, on which all of these members were elected, stated we recognize that the most efficient way to reduce our emissions is to use pricing mechanisms. And more recently, Mr. Speaker, the member from Pitt Meadows, Maple Ridge, who made a question here about carbon pricing, sat in Premier Campbell's caucus and voted in favor.